stick and make a little hole in the carpet.
That's it. It goes.
I don't want.
Yeah, can I? Go on.
I don't want to hurry anyone, but
No,
our main item has just fallen down. So there will be just the teeniest bit of panic where I come from.
No, okay, we're going.
Right. Can I take a fruit, Lawson?
Right.
No.
Right, yes, I'm ready. Yep, fine.
Oh, God. Oh,
No.
my bra strap's falling down.
Some transmission lights in the studio, please.
Right, enjoy yourself, little one.
Yeah, please do.
You can do what you like.
Ready on the floor.
I have got a
Stand
hole
by,
there.
please.
Look.
Here we go.
I shall have to cover it up.
Oh, right, okay. Hello, my guest today is probably the best known champion of consumer rights in this country. She's certainly one of Britain's most effective campaigners, whether it's for rear seatbelts in cars or organ transplants. Born into a Jewish family, she says, I owe my parents the example they set me of tolerance, conversation and friendship. Her mother has long been associated with a nursery school in the East End of London, and maybe that accounts for her daughter's instinctive sympathy for old-fashioned working-class culture. My guest, who it's been said was shy as a young girl, was awarded the OBE in the latest New Year's honours. It gives me a great deal to live up to, she says. Welcome to one of the most influential women in television, star of That's Life, Esther Rantzen, and her mother, Catherine. Lester, let me say straight away, do you at any times nowadays think, what would mother think of that? What would my mother think about this?
To be honest with you, no, because if I want to know what she thinks, I ring her up and she tells me instantly, don't you?
I try to be truthful, whether I like it or not.
Blunt. Blunt. I did once do some street interviews about loo paper. Do you remember that?
No, remind me.
You've blocked it. It was whether people preferred hard or soft paper. And she actually, who's rather kind about some of my television appearances, said to me when we met that weekend, Esther, I don't think you should have done that. I knew what you meant. But you do tell me what you think.
I was probably shocked about that incident because I'm your mother. I'm at least a generation older than yourself.
And mothers,
Am I not?
You are. And mothers have the right to be shocked.
And what sort of daughter was Esther? I mean, was she, as her sister said, I believe, shy?
Well, I've learnt that the first time today. I never found Esther at all shy. And she was made president of her class in America when we lived there for a short time, 2 days after entering the school. And the headmaster said it was quite a sensation to the school headmaster.
And do you think of yourself as shy? Do you remember being shy, Esther?
I've always found small talk difficult. And when I went to parties with my sister, I was always rather aware of the fact that I was rather plain fat and unattractive, while the other ladies were extremely sophisticated and beautiful. And it may be that when I was in my teens, I was not very confident in those areas. But of course, I did things like school plays and things, so I wasn't shy there.
Do you see any of yourself in Esther, Catherine? Do you see any of your qualities in her?
My qualities in her? I'm not sure about that. I'd like to think that I was as talented as Esther, and unfortunately I never have been.
Do you think if you'd been born maybe in Esther's time, you might have yourself done something on television, something more centre stage?
Well, I was a show-off as a little tiny thing. I took the part of a grandmother and padded myself out with cushions when I was about 7 years old. And that went down quite well with the adults who were watching, so maybe there's something, I don't know.
Well, Esther, childline is obviously very important to you. Is there any special reason why children are so important to you? Do you think it's because of your own family upbringing?
Certainly, no question. I mean, one of the things my sister and I both know, right from the moment we were born, we came first for both my mother and my father, they were prepared to make any sacrifice, make sure that we got the happiest childhood, the best opportunities. That was what they cared about, what they thought about. They enjoyed our company and so on. And I suppose that feeling of being, if you like, precious because we were their children is something that it came as a tremendous shock when I realized that there are other children not so well off. Of course, I knew it at school. I knew there were other children who had more pressurized backgrounds, less loving backgrounds. I knew that. And as I grew up, I realized that it would make a difference to my life to have that confidence and love and security behind me. But I think the major shock was when I realized just how painful some children's childhoods are. And because of what this person has given me all my life, I really felt this was something we had to fight for. We had to try and make, not equality of wealth. I don't think anyone will ever be able to do that. But equality of that sort of loving, secure feeling of being prized that I think every child should feel. And my sister and I both did feel.
I read somewhere that you said you had been abused, albeit mildly, when young. I mean, was that significant?
There was an episode in my life which frightened me very much and gave me some sort of insight into what children go through. But that journalist who quoted me as saying that took it completely out of context, because what I had said to him was, no, I have not been abused, not like the children who ring Childline. And then I described to him an episode which nonetheless made me understand that fear and that pain. But I wonder if you too have experienced something like this, because I think almost every woman in their childhood, in their own background, has experienced something like this, either from a stranger or a member of the family, which is very unpleasant and which frightens them very much.
Catherine, do you think that the family faith, that the Jewish faith, has had a lot to do with the way that you and Esther and the family have been very close?
Well, that's a very difficult thing to answer, because I personally, and my sisters were not brought up as Orthodox Jews at all. And in fact, one of my sisters and I went to a well-known school where all the governors were bishops and so forth, and we were accepted on condition that we attended the church every Sunday and whatever services should take place. I remember at church, I thought, well, I won't concede to everything. I'm not going to kneel down, so I sort of leant forward and then thought that a brick would fall on my head as a consequence. So I can't really answer that, can I?
Not in the sort of going to synagogue every Saturday sort of way, but I suspect that our feeling for family, the fact Mum was one of 4 daughters, all of whom lived within 5 miles of my grandmother, that immense closeness of that family, I think, is part of a cultural heritage, don't you?
Yes.
How?
Sorry.
I was going to say, how do you feel when inevitably, however many faithful viewers and supporters you've got, there is press criticism, because people love to criticise people in public life? How much does that affect you?
I mind very much. And I hope and believe that Esther's become thick enough skinned not to get worried, but I certainly do when I read things which I don't consider are true about Esther. I do mind. I get very hurt on her behalf. Do you mind?
When people write about me,
Yes.
sometimes, oh yes, when they tell wicked lies.
Yes, exactly.
I don't mind vulgar abuse. I don't mind people saying I'm stupid and untalented and ugly and old and fat and short and
Who
wrinkled.
says that?
I don't know, but every now and again, you know, when they've got nothing else to do. I don't mind that, but if they say I steal or hurt children, I mind that.
And what about smacking? Did you ever smack Esther when she was young?
I was absolutely furious. A few weeks ago, I read an article in the Times, headlined, "Esther says she was smacked." I phoned her and I said, "Esther, what's all this about? You know perfectly well I was always appalled at the idea of smacking." She said, "Well, the reporter said, have you ever been smacked?" So I said, "Yes, Mother." Is that right, Esther?
That's
Can
true.
we just clear this up, please?
We can. Mother never smacked me, did you?
I don't think I did.
You once attacked me.
Yes, I did. When
But
she
I'm-
locked me in the kitchen.
I locked her in the kitchen. It was rather an unfortunate event because what I did was I locked her in. We'd had some free and frank exchange of views, didn't we? And
must have.
I locked her in the kitchen and then walked out the front door and didn't have her front door key, which meant that nobody could get in the house again. I met Mum. She came out the back door and I came, and we met in an alleyway beside the house. That was, yes, that was a... You attacked me. You were smaller than me, but quite wiry.
Well, she was about 14, you see, and I went...
But she was quite wiry. But I was smacked as a child, not by you.
No, I absolutely wouldn't, because I consider it is a form of child abuse to do that, personally.
Have you ever?
I was smacked as
Have
a
I
child.
ever smacked her?
No.
Haven't yet. Yeah.
It could be a first on this programme.
Yeah.
I was going to ask if you've ever smacked your children.
There was a terrible moment when Joshua threw a rather heavy ornament across the sitting room. He must have been about 5. And he knew that the rule was you don't throw heavy ornaments across the sitting room. And I said to him, Joshua, you know there is a rule about that. And he said, yes. And I said, I'm terribly sorry, but because you've forgotten the rule, I'm going to have to remind you. And I uncurled his podgy little fingers.
Oh, dear, how pathetic.
And I smacked his hand hard.
Did it?
I know.
That's news.
But he didn't cry. He just pulled himself up to his 4-year-old height and looked me in the eyes and walked out of the sitting room and sat on the stairs. And my sister Priscilla was there at the time. And she looked at me with a strange expression. I realised she was trying not to giggle. And she told me afterwards the expression of pain on my face was far greater than the expression of pain on Joshua's. So I walked out to where Joshua was sitting on the stairs and said, can we have a cuddle? And he said, only if you apologise. And I said, I'm terribly sorry, Joshua, because I had to do that. And I cuddled him. And I considered that he won that, hands down, no contest. So I decided it was a hiding to nothing and didn't do it again.
Catherine, listening to Esther, and Esther's got what a lot of our guests on this programme have had, energy, vitality, and really a boundless energy. Do you think that if Esther hadn't gone into television, what do you think would have satisfied her? What other career do you think would have satisfied her?
Well, she took a degree in English at Somerville College, and she was always extremely good at writing, and I think she would have become a professional writer than instead of a professional broadcaster. What do you think about that?
I don't know, I never had much confidence as a writer. I never thought I
Well,
could
you know you write well.
Well, other people write better. I don't know what the answer is. I think, actually, I love broadcasting. Of course, my father worked for the BBC for a very long time, had great respect for the organisation.
He was head of engineering, wasn't he?
He was, and he always...
No, not he.
Engineering designs.
He was head of an engineering department, but not head of engineering. That must be put straight, otherwise your father would be at us both.
Right, true. He was head of lines and designs. And he always regarded people who appeared on television as being the backwash of the entertainment industry. An analogy, I think, taken from either from boats or hairdressing, but either way, it's not very complimentary. So I might have gone into production in any case. That's what really fascinates me. Creating the programmes is what interests me very much.
Do you think that you might move into other things now? Do you think that you might even change career, change developments?
I suppose you come to a watershed when you're 50, do you? When you think to yourself?
I feel you do.
And as I say, the wrinkles begin to collect, and you think to yourself. I saw Frankie Howard in makeup once in an early programme I worked on. He is brilliant. And he was sitting there about the age I am now, and he was peering into the mirror and he was saying to the makeup girl, oh, do something about these. You've got to do something about these, you see. And she put lots and lots of pancake makeup on. Then he got into the studio, and he started talking to cameras, and he said, zoom in, look at these, which the camera immediately did, which no one would have noticed, but one has to be aware of these. And one thinks to oneself, I think to myself, how much longer, really, are people going to tolerate all the bags and sags and the elderly ranson? And maybe I should change direction, but the difficulty is that the work I do at the moment is so difficult and so challenging, and for those reasons so exciting and so rewarding when it works. It's difficult to think of anything else that could compare with it.
And I liked, you said that I wink at the camera and I feel the camera winks back at me. I thought that was a lovely phrase. I mean, is that something you do get, that buzz?
I tend not to wink physically, but I do certainly have a feeling of empathy. I think I always work with a studio audience, and I always feel that we are communicating. They are responding either favourably or unfavourably to what I say, and it does give me a buzz, that.
Catherine, do you make sure you always watch Esther's every programme?
Well, both her father and I always endeavour to, but of course if we're abroad or on holiday, we can't do so. And I can't ask her to get a video for every single That's Life for 2 months, say, can I?
And she goes away, you see, a bit of the year she and my father spend with my sister who lives in Australia. So they do miss quite a bit then, don't you?
But would it be an instinct of yours when you've done a programme to either actually pick up the phone and ask, or just to think, wonder what Mum would have thought?
If I'm worried about a show, I do that.
Have. You've
yes.
done that.
If
She's
I'm worried,
phoned me up when you were. What were you? You were chairing some debate in Bristol, was it? Remind me.
it was I remember that.
About the BBC or something.
One
and
of
you
those.
phoned me up.
And said,
the
what did
next
you
day.
think?
And I said, well, I would have phoned you. It wasn't in Bristol. I think it was in London, because I said I would have phoned you, but it was 11 o'clock, and I thought it might be too late to impose my congratulations onto you. But she does phone periodically to chat about a programme she's made.
Now, Esther's a self-confessed workaholic, as again a lot of our guests have been. But what's Esther like in the home? Was she a girl that sort of did her part of the
No.
domestic duties?
The answer is definitely not. She saved us a burglar once, because the burglar climbed up the gutter thing, drain pipe, and clambered into her room, which was in such a mess, and jewel boxes and sort of costume jewellery thrown all over the floor, and clothes thrown over the floor, that he disappeared back down the drain pipe. That is a fact,
At this
actually.
point, in my own defence, I would say that the jewellery and the costumes were a pantomime I was producing, and therefore everything was laid out while I was trying to work on it all. But I do confess it was true.
But has Esther got good cookery talents?
She is a good cook, actually, but her husband's also a good cook, isn't he? So I don't know who does the main cooking sort of weekends when the nanny housekeeper's away. Who does it?
He does.
There you are. But she can cook, and I think you quite enjoy it, don't you?
I've reached the stage now when I can start cooking with the children, and that's great fun. Used to do that. I once cooked you.
You made me a cocktail.
They went out for the evening, and I said, Mother, how could you leave us the way all children do? And she said, I've got to go. And she went, you see. So I thought, revenge. And I went into the larder, and I found a glass, and I filled it with Worcester sauce, old coffee dregs, mustard, bits of old chocolate, everything disgusting I could find.
Bit of flour on top.
Bit of flour, nicely, arranged on the top.
What age were you?
14?
Yes.
And a little note saying, Mother, darling, this is for you. And Mother, darling, slightly inebriated, because she must have been, 'cause otherwise she would have noticed, came home and thought, sweet Esther, grabbed this thing and took a great big suck at the straw. Now, what you didn't do is what I would have done had my child done that, which is come storming up to the bedroom and emptied it over my head. I think what she actually thought was I'd been aiming to make something delicious, and it ended up vile by accident.
Did you? Is that what you
Yeah.
thought?
What do you think?
It was a practical joke, and it was disgusting. And 35 years afterwards, I haven't forgiven you. It was a horrible thing
Can we
to
make
do.
it a truce today?
Yeah, indeed.
Esther, it's been said, or you may have said yourself, that your children have sometimes called you Mummy Bossy Boots.
I
Do you
know.
recognise this?
Who blooming well quoted that? Well, I mean, somebody else told me that had appeared in the press. It sounds to me like something my husband probably said, rather than I did myself. Do I recognise myself as Mother Bossy Boots, I suppose? So. All mothers are a bit bossy, aren't they? Aren't they? No, fine.
And you're not, dear. You're very caressing and kind and charming to your 3 children, which sometimes I feel could have been slightly lessened. Is that grammar? No.
Yes. You mean you'd like me to be stricter?
No, I would not smacking, but occasionally
More
don't giggle when they say something extremely rude.
Yeah. That's
No,
Bit of
cut that.
bit of a draw. You know, like, She decides what she
Oh,
can.
I see. Okay.
And if I know anything about anything, she will certainly keep that in.
Right.
What do you think makes Esther tick? What do you think sort of drives her?
It's a sort of compulsion, is it? Neurosis, I wonder.
Might be a psychosis. Have you
No.
ever had me seen by a psychiatrist?
Yeah,
Some
of course
You have. You've got a cousin who's a psychiatrist. I used to see
Well,
him.
he was. He's in heaven now.
He's in
but-
heaven. Nice man.
Yes. But, no, I don't
You think I'm potty?
I think she has this nervous energy, for better or for worse. I don't know, but she has. I would just add, has the programme finished?
No, it hasn't.
That she was a very sick little girl. When she was 8.5, she had a very serious attack of flu, and it affected her kidneys and her hearing. And in fact, she ended up in University College Hospital for over 3 months, didn't you? But I don't know. And she was bedridden most of the time. When she recovered, whether that made her sort of vulnerable to sort of relaxing, I don't know, or whether it made you more full of energy.
It's a very interesting theory. She hasn't advanced before. When I came out of hospital, I was a year behind. They put me a year behind, and maybe I had to run to catch up, and maybe in a sort of absent-minded way I've been running ever since.
Well, Dame Kitty Anderson, the principal of her school, because she'd had this severe illness, decided to keep her in the class she had been in prior to that. She missed 6 months school, actually. And I was in the States with her father, and Dame Kitty actually wrote to me for agreement, which of course I gave at once, that she should be put up a class to be with her former schoolmates, as she was obviously beyond where she'd been kept down, you see. And whether that created this unusual... If you think she's energetic, do you?
I do.
Over the weekend, you know, I've been known perhaps to wake up and say, hello, Esther.
Yeah, I go to her for lunch and fall into a profound sleep.
Yeah.
But I think that's more to do with your excellent cooking.
Oh, I see.
Can I just ask you, it's difficult to wrap it up very quickly, but what do you think Esther's given you? What has she given you as a daughter over the years?
Lots and lots of pleasure, actually. Undiluted pleasure, I would say. Even though we don't look so godly.
Undiluted?
More or less undiluted pleasure. And I think not only has she been quite a good influence in keeping me I'm nearer 80 than 70 now, keeping me feel young, but she's also, what else has she done?
Not
Kept
a
her
lot.
father young. And what has impressed me, although she isn't a religious person, she's had tremendous influence on her children, on the 2 girls anyhow. And the older child recently was bat mitzvah. Do you know what that means? Mm-hmm. It's sort of feminine for bar mitzvah. And she was in a newly built liberal synagogue in St. John's Wood, Emily, and Emily read a lot of Hebrew, and I haven't a word of Hebrew from the scrolls, most beautifully. And Esther read very dramatically a piece of the Bible about Deborah, who I'd never heard of before, but apparently she was a soldier 3,000 years ago. And so, yes.
So Esther's had a big influence on your life in that sense, and also followed it through to her
Yes, she's
children.
made me feel that occasionally I ought to attend more services than I ever have done in my life. Because, as I say, I was sent to this very Church of England school, you see. I remember being rather shocked there because on Founders Day they always had senior girl make a speech. And this child was talking, and she said, it's for the conversion of Jews and other heathens, some charity she was talking about. And I thought, oh my God, is that what I really am, a heathen? Maybe.
Well, that's a very long reply, but a very good one. Esther, how about you? What do you think your mother's meant to you and does mean to you?
Well, she was always has been rather irreverent. She has always had a sense of humour. She's always the love and the security and that side of my upbringing is quite obvious. I think the idea that mother and daughter should be companions together is something that I've got from her. And thank goodness it's been passed down a generation, so I've also got from my own daughters. And I think that's almost the most important thing that can happen between a mother and daughter, because if you have that friendship, the capacity to laugh together and the capacity to cry together, then nothing else much matters, really.
Well, Catherine and Esther Ransom, many thanks.
Thank you.
Ah, thank you very much indeed. That is lovely. Thank you. Gosh. You look like each other.
I know, it's ridiculous,
So
isn't it?
striking. It was
Yes.
took my breath away.
Yeah.
Yes.
People used to walk round.
Okay. They're just running up to recording. If we could do yours first.
Right. So, tell her about the time a school friend of yours
What's it?
followed me round John Barnes, looking for you because they recognised.
Gosh, is that so? Yeah.
Followed you round.
Looking for you because I looked so like.
Oh, yes, that's quite right.
Tell her.
Great.
Well, you tell her. You're married. I'm much more gargled. She followed you around because she thought you and I would meet up sometime.
God,
And we did.
Amazing. Gracious. Well, I was
Do them to
staggered.
Carol first, Esther. The smiley one first. As if she-
What is the most unexpected anecdote you've heard from one of your interviewees?
Well, I think your mother's sort of taken the can there. I think it's been a very, I mean, well, first of all, the thing you said very early on about when you said I hadn't heard that, and the fact that you said she hasn't forgiven you 35 years later, I thought that was wonderful.
That was great, thank you. And as if she's asked you a more serious question now.
And what's the most moving moment you've had in these interviews?
I think probably that the touches that you, just when you held your mum's hand now, I think that sort of thing, often you'll find that, you know, it's just sort of at the end, I think it sort of makes you feel how much your mother's important to you. And that this boundless energy, every single person, I think it would be. In fact, I mean, Jeffrey Archer, I know it sounds trite, says if you can have a little talent and a lot of energy, it's better than a lot of talent and little energy. And I think, I'm not saying there's not talent, but the energy is so important, stamina, whatever you call it.
Lovely. Do the same thing now.
Well,
What's your least favourite television appearance?
oh, I can't answer that.
Why?
Well,
Don't say to
I
stay.
might get mud leaving your nice centre. I can't remember. You asked me what programme I like, Liz.
Yeah. And now more serious one.
Oh
Mine
God,
is
I
just-
can't look at my mother and look serious. How's Pop?
Well, when left, he was grinding his teeth at the billiard table.
Can we record that, please?
Yes,
Do some of you now, please.
When left, he was grinding his teeth at the billiard.
looking at television.
You mean he was watching the snooker? When left, he was grinding his teeth at the billiard table.
So it's just looking at, please look at Carol first. of
Right,
all.
Carol is telling you something
Right.
terribly serious.
Right, so you've got to be very serious, and they're going to take a shot of you.
I think you need to tell her about your mother, and
All
she'll
right.
listen.
I'll tell you about my mother then. Okay then. My mother is, what is my mother? My mother is,
You're very close to her.
extremely close to her, yes. And that's really how the series came about, because I wanted to have other people tell us about their mothers. And,
And a happy one.
oh, I've got to say something funny now. But my father, if he'd still been alive, would have been grinding his teeth at billiard tables too. That was a lovely, I should remember that.
And the same thing looking at Esther now.
How you could say... All I did was ask you about Father. I expected you quietly to say, well, he's working or he's packing or he's something. Grinding his teeth at the billiard table is over the top, Mum.
You know how he juts his jaw out.
But how can
when
anyone...
he's annoyed. He talks to the television set.
Well, everybody does that, but snooker is a rather quiet game, mainly
Okay.
consisting of men's bums.
Yes, but if they do a bad shot, he'll say, "How the hell?"
He doesn't
You're
play
not
snooker.
recording
No, we're
it.
not. No. Right.
Now shut up, you've got to listen to me. You've got to listen to me.
Right.
Now, I know perfectly well that Father enjoys boxing, and I know when he watches boxing he gets quite irritated, and I know that he also takes sides and will occasionally swear at it, and I know there are occasions when he takes the view about certain politicians, and he will sometimes disagree with them profoundly. But I do not believe that watching the game of snooker could move him to such rage that he grinds his teeth and talks to the television.
No, I must say it's more soccer and football.
Oh, right. He's grinding his teeth at the football pitch.
There we are.
You're not going to get
that's
any
what
more.
he
I
really
think.
does.
It's done, right.
Just some quick ones on Carol.
Right.
Then. We just need
Okay,
to
then
then
let you go.
go through
Won't be 2 minutes.
And will they have it taped?
Well, I was just going to ask for you now. I
Oh,
hope
how
for goodness sake they
kind.
will. Right.
Mine is too.
Right. Is
Right.
Peter Barn getting any viewers? No, yeah, I'm not getting right. Peter Barn, right. I walked my friend Adrian Mills round and round the New Forest and said, under no circumstances should you go to this lunatic idea, half in Manchester and half in Birmingham. You would be completely potty. And my friend Adrian Mills, who used to work on That's Life, has long taken my advice on all matters of this nature. He therefore went straight back to Shepherd's Bush and resigned from That's Life and joined Peter Barn in Manchester and found himself working with the Wicked Witch of the North. And it serves him bloody...
They always say the worst non-smokers are the ex-smokers. Extra mild, but very nice. Yeah, look what we use.
Take a price, please.
Shirley?
Hello. My guest today was born into a working class family in the northeast of England, the elder of 2 sons. His parents lived in Teesside and managed a local cinema. When he was 11 years old, he was sent away for a holiday in the Yorkshire Dales. And one rainy afternoon, he read a book all about Victorian entertainment. He taught himself a card trick, and from then on, he says, magic became the obsession of his life. At 18, he did his national service and for the first time was paid for performing a magic show. In the late 1970s, his television series made him a household name overnight. Welcome to that master of magic where every second counts, Paul Daniels and his mother Nancy. Well, welcome. Paul, let's
That
go.
didn't take a lot of work. I mean, as a crossword puzzle filler in it, the clues were a bit obvious, I thought, on that one.
Well, let's go back to the very beginnings of the North East. Do you think the influence of the North East has remained with you?
Well, yes, it's a very common sense area, really. It's a very practical area, highly industrialised. And I have to say, having gone back just about every year, a couple of times a year, it's also the most improved roads area. You know, if anybody was ever thinking that they need a workforce, I need to do a factory, I would put it in the North East because the force is there. And the ability to travel out of the area is very easy now, you know, in all sorts of ways. So it's a good area. But yeah, it makes you a practical, common sense person.
Nancy, practical, common sense person, were you surprised when Paul went into a showbiz world? Did you approve of it?
No, I didn't. Because my opinion was that a boy must have something more. Magic, to me, wasn't money, wasn't to live on. And it wasn't until about 8 or 9 years afterwards when there was XJS in the drive and my car was in the drive, and he said, see,
Got a better car?
I got that one. Didn't get that with sitting behind a desk. So now I don't argue. I just accept it.
But it's true. I mean, in the North East, where, as I say, we both obviously come from there. It's this thing is all your education at that stage was you would be fodder for the iron and steel works, the dock industry,
Docks.
the chemical works, whatever. This is what you would be. And everybody had to have a proper job. So I
No,
did.
well, that was my expression, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You get a proper job before you think of magic.
Stop playing with your toys.
Did he play with these toys? Was he always practising magic?
Oh, don't. Morning, noon and night. But there were times when, if he was doing a youth club show and his cupboard was untidy, he would rush in from school and I'd say, you're not going to youth club until that cupboard is tidy. And that's the only time in my life I remember slapping his legs, because when I wouldn't let him go straight out after his tea to the youth club, he started taking one book off a shelf and putting it on his bed. He was going to do it in his time. And I said, no way, you do it in my time. The cupboard was done, and he was away at the youth club.
It's still the same now, really.
Yeah.
She won't let me go out. You know, it's very sad.
Do you remember your parents' disapproval? Did it have an effect on you? Did you ever think you wouldn't go into magic?
Yeah, it's a funny thing. This little town we come from, South Bank, near Middlesbrough. I went to Lower Princess Street School, and in that year I was the only boy from that school to qualify to go to Sir William Turner's grammar school in Redcar, Cotham Redcar then. And I just didn't, I wasn't taught why, I was taught just learn it. And I always think you should be taught why. I still do. I still think the education system's not very good in that respect. And so I wasn't interested. What I was interested in was this thing called magic. There are two expressions. You're either kissed on the cheek by the goddess Marja, or you're bitten on the bum by the magic bug. You take your pick. And I really was both. I didn't want to learn. I didn't want to do anything. But when Mum and Dad said, you've got to get a proper job, I took a local government junior clerk's job because it was 100 yards up the road, so I could get home for lunch. But I had no real interest in it. No real interest.
But you were involved with the cinema. Do you think that some of that perhaps rubbed off on Paul, Nancy, that your husband and you were in the world of the cinema?
Oh, well, you see, they thought it was great because they didn't have to pay to come in to see the pictures. And even when they were tiny, their dad taught them the projection side. Yeah. I really think now even the two boys could go into a projection room. Probably it's more modern now, but they could have gone into the projection room and run the show.
Yeah. Well, it's the same.
In fact, he made them two little stools. You know, in the projection room, the windows are too high for little people. And he made them two little stools. And they could have their hands on the BTH and look through the window.
Yeah. 9 years old and projecting horror movies.
Oh, yeah.
You know, which haven't altered me at all.
Do you really remember when you were 11? Do you really remember that
Oh,
buzz
yeah.
of magic, the feeling that came over you?
Yes, I was a shy youth, little boy. Did a lot of reading, never really used to go out to play much. And I can remember reading this book and thinking, crikey, that works. Because it was one of those things you could do on yourself, you know, to test it. That works. So I copied it all out by hand. And then I tried on somebody else. And you just grew a little bit in stature in your society that you were living in then, you know, the other kids, you know, wow, you can do a magic trick. So I did it. I did nothing else. I really haven't been interested in anything else. I'm not interested in pop music. I'm not interested in sport. I think it's very nice, and people want to do it. That's fine, and I think it's got its place on TV, like I have my place on TV, and you have your place on TV. And I just think what maddens me now, at the incredible old age of 52, is when I read people saying, you know, that shouldn't be on TV, or he shouldn't be, or she shouldn't be, or anybody shouldn't be on TV. Well, there's a place up there for all of us in our specific times, you know. So I just did magic. That was it.
Nancy, did you enjoy it? Did you like to see new tricks, know people learning new things, or did it become a pest in a way?
Well, you do get involved because Dad's probably doing the kitchen for you. Dad, will you make this? And he's gone, and he's making little boxes. So you think, how far is this going to go? And it does get to a pitch where you're driving along the motorway, and Dad will say, I'm sure this is going to work.
Yeah,
And you do.
Yeah, I think you should explain. You see that I'm. Yes, I've got a talent in magic that comes from never doing any total research, total dedication to that. But on the back of that, I firmly believe I'm the luckiest guy in the world because of these two people that just happen to be my parents. That's fortuitousness, but my mother and my father have incredible individual talents. My father is the best craftsman I have ever come across, or he was, in every aspect of wood, metal, plastic, cloth, anything. My mother knits up a storm. When I went and did my one-man show, she made the theatre tabs, the curtains, the big ones, you know, sat with the stuff coming over here. She's, everybody says the mum's a great cook. I did 2 Disney programs. You only ever get to do 1, really. But it wasn't because I was any good. It was because my mother did the catering. So they came back for that. So I've had, initially, hey, no, get a proper job, which I believe was right. And then when I decided I was going to go full-time professional, I got all the backup in the world from Dad making the boxes, my mother making the cloth bits and all that. So, you know, I made it on the back of a lot of common sense from those two people. And it's impossible, I know this is all about mums, but it's impossible to separate mum and dad. It really is. They are the team, the A-team, and they are the best, and that's it, you know.
No, I think the family. I think that's it. Paul has anything, we have a chat, we have a talk, we have a cup of tea, and it all rolls. You know, it's not a case of it might work. If Dad say it doesn't work, and you don't do it, and we fit it in, don't we? We work
very
it
much
in.
a family.
What do you think about the religious upbringing that you have? Because I know at one point you were a Methodist lay preacher, weren't you?
I think that's great. I think you should have it. I'm not religious at all now. From logic, I cannot believe there's anything beyond what we are. I think we are just animals. But I back religion, and I do charitable works in the name of religion, because that's the only group that seems to me to be instructing morally at the moment. I mean, whoever the guy was who put together the 10 Commandments simplified it wondrously. And if anybody or a nation or a couple of people are in trouble, you can usually trace it to one of those who's been bust, okay? And the Middle East war, as somebody coveted another nation and went in and robbed and stole, and look at all the hassle. So where I think it's a shame that we can't make all children, irrespective of colour, all go to school together and have religion moved from, if you like, 9 to 5 school. And if the parents want to give them the religion later, do so. But at the 9 to 5 school, just teach them the moral rules and the why. Again, always with me, why? Why is that like that? Why? So I'm not religious at all now.
Nancy, Paul, I think, has called himself a born-again atheist.
Yeah.
No,
You,
I don't believe that.
you don't. Because you still have a strong religion yourself.
Oh, I have. Yes, I have. I had, and my mother was a founder member of a Sunday school, which Paul was secretary of. But that Sunday school didn't have a youth club where he could do his little bits of magic. That's why he went to the Methodist. They had a club. Our little chapel hadn't. But even so, I think everybody's got to have a belief.
Did it disappoint you to hear Paul say what he said?
No, no, no. I've always said to the boys, you believe in what you like, and if you've got anything to hang on to in religion, well, then hang on to it. And I always think his dad didn't have any religious upbringing, but I remember him saying, if you're in trouble when you're traveling the world, go into a church. You can talk. You can talk to anybody in there and they'll listen. So I hang on to that. And in the last 18 months, it is religion that I've hung on to. And I mean that. I've had to have that faith.
Yeah, Dad's had a stroke, you see. And how tall are you?
4'10".
4'10". How old are you?
75.
75. And at 4'10" and 75 and weighing in at nuppence,
6.5 stone.
oh, you fat lump. she picks this guy up,
10
whips him
stone.
round, washes him, toilets and baths and does everything, you know, cooks for him, feeds him, 24 hours a day, you know. There's a nurse comes in on the morning and does a bit, there's a nurse comes in on an evening and does a bit, and the rest of the time it's all down to Mom, okay? And I don't know where the hell she gets the energy from, I really don't, you know. It
Well,
works like hell, unbelievable.
Well, you've got to do that. When you've been married for 54 years to a partner,
Yeah.
you don't just shove them off into a home and say, that's me, you know, I'm free. No way.
And the wondrous thing is now, after about 18 months, there's signs of great improvement. Dad's 76? Yeah.
77 next week.
Yeah.
But you've said, I know, Paul, that you don't live with your family because you love them too much, but you
No,
live
I
very,
say
very
that.
close, don't you?
I
no,
say
no,
that.
No, Mum
It's,
says
I
that.
beg
I
you-
say
it's
that.
you that says that.
I
You
say
say,
Yeah.
I don't live with my family because I love them
love
too
them
much.
too
But you do live very near each other, don't
Yes.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
you've got the kennel, haven't you now? You're in the
Across the way.
the kennel
Across the
down
way.
at the bottom of the
That's
drive.
right.
I'm got a nice house, and in the house grounds there's a nice cottage, and Mum and Dad live in the cottage. And we're all within call all the time in case of emergencies.
The
That's
buzzer
good.
goes and we say, cup of tea on.
Trevor lives about an hour up the road, and again, family. He's got identical twins just born, and his 2 eldest sons, Mark and David, delightful boys. You know, I've got 3 sons that call round when they can, work permitting, and are always bobbing in and out. And so the family unit still stays very much as the family unit and friends.
Very nice. They just come in and say, hi, Nana, hi, Grandad, you know. And I love it.
Paul, was Paul a shy boy when young?
Very. Very. I think it was more because of his height, because he was the littlest. When he passed the scholarship, all the boys came in their uniforms, and Paul was the little one. And it was identical with Trevor.
Yeah.
Trevor was the little one. And when Trevor was teaching and he was saying cheerio to some of these pupils, he was taking them out for a meal, I expected these school children to come to the door. And when I opened the door, it was men. And Trevor's the little one, the same as Paul was the little one.
How do you think you overcame the shyness, Paul?
Oh, it's a well-known story. I overcame shyness through magic. It gave me a means of communication. But I still was very quiet socially until I saw a male stripper when I was off doing the clubs. And I thought, for the rest of my life, no matter what I do, I can never look as stupid as he does right now. And it just, all inhibitions went then. I mean, this guy just looked incredibly stupid. Horrendous. So it just all went, and it's never come back.
Do you have an enormous amount of energy? Everyone we've had on the programme, to me it seems that energy is one of the reasons for their success. Do you have a lot of energy, or do you have idle moments?
My mother and father work, and always have worked, very hard. And it was Dad was 63 when I offered him a job working for me. And he said to me, yeah, but when I'm 65, will you still have plenty of work left for me? Didn't want to retire at all. Still doesn't. I'm sure that the moment he's better, he'll be back in the workshop. And I said, yeah, sure, plenty of work. Mum and Dad have worked very hard all their lives. The 60s of age, you know, not the 1960s, the 60s of age for them made no difference. The 70s hasn't made any difference. And I'm still waiting in my 50s to feel different. And I guess I'm never going to. I think I'm just going to, I hope, have as much energy as these two. And Dad used to say to me, he says, you work so hard. He says, you really should relax. And I said, well, I've got this big problem. And he said, what's that? I said, well, I've got a mother and father who work like hell. And I don't want them turning around saying I'm idle. And he thought about that and he says, yep, you've got a problem. So we all just work flat out. And it's great. And if you sit around, you really do rot, you know.
But Nancy, Paul says that he's got a secret of why he's not tense. It's because he breathes slowly. Have you learnt that from him?
I don't know.
We just relax.
We'll just take everything.
Something goes wrong, have a cuddle.
Yeah,
Bit of a
that's
hug.
true.
Have a cuddle.
That's true.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, have a cuddle, you know.
What do you think, Nancy? What has Paul brought to you? Can you say, sort of briefly, what has he given you as a son?
Love. Love. A feeling that, okay, I've always relied on his dad. Oh, Dad's there, but now Paul's there. Trevor's there. And if you can, if only kids could realise that their parents still need them. They really do. Their parents still need them. Don't just go and say hi once in a blue moon. Walk in, put the kettle on, and talk. Talk is the main thing. Paul will come in, yes, I'll have a cup of tea. Sit on the settee, and we talk about everything. And that, I think that gets... I'm not closed in with an invalid. Debbie runs in. What do you want from the shops? Talk. Don't hold anything back. If you've got anything to say it. Even if it means getting over an argument. But you'll never get over an argument that's stuck in the back of your mind. Get it off. Have a good talk and have a good cup of tea and chat. And it's gone.
That was a good point, saying about, you know, telling the kids to do it. I would have been in my early 40s, and I was on holiday in America, and I saw this thing on TV, and I thought, jeepers creepers, I've never done that. I've never done that. So I went straight back to England, you know, I was due to go back. I went back to England, and I actually told my mum and dad I loved them. And you grow up, and it's just all part of the furniture, isn't it? You don't do that. And that made a tremendous difference to all our relationships. I mean, it really did. And it was true. I suppose everybody takes it for granted. Or you expect them to know.
Yeah,
How the hell do they
nice to
know?
hear it.
You will
nice
never
to
know
hear
unless
it.
somebody says it out loud.
Yeah.
So
Paul
you
does
say-
now.
Yeah.
Paul would come like this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love you, Mum.
And
And that's it. But I wish all kiddies would do it.
see, I'm a kiddie now, see.
And what's this kiddie feel about his mum?
I'm a kiddie. Oh, great. I mean, she really is good. I'm going to, as I was thinking, I'll go home, and I've got a new video camera now, you see. And I'm going to go into the kitchen and find out the secret of my mother's cooking with the video camera. And then I'm going to take up cooking. See, she's laughing because I can't cook anything. And then I thought I would follow around the garden with the camera because I'm going to take up gardening. See, laughing again. Because anything she sticks in anywhere just grows. And so I'll... I think she's great. Like I said earlier, I've just been lucky Not just because of Mum, because of the team, because of the fella she pulled, me dad. it's just a great team.
So in a sentence, what does your mother mean to you?
Oh, roast beef.
Naggy.
Old bat.
Naggy.
Yeah, you're a naggy old bat, Mum. And I've
Naggy.
been meaning to tell you that for a long time.
Yeah. Oh,
But-
I'll accept that.
But the roast beef and Yorkshire puddings are so good, I'll forgive you. Hey, she's just lovely. Yeah.
Well, Nancy and Paul Daniels, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's lovely. Thank you.
Now, Mum, to save a lot of time, look at me.
I know.
And
Cut
not,
away.
No, don't talk. And don't talk. You don't talk. And see this.
I wish I could fly.
You silly
Very
sod.
horrible.
No, me. Not me. Now, you see her over there.
Yeah.
Look at her.
Keep looking at Paul, please.
Oh, keep looking at me, because they're a bit slow upstairs.
I just said you've done this before, obviously.
And nod. Just nod.
Yes, I've done it before.
Yeah, yeah. No, don't talk.
Not talk.
No talk. Just nod. No, at me.
Mm.
Mm. Mm. No, don't talk. You're not allowed to talk.
Don't be an idiot.
No, don't talk. You're not allowed to talk. You-
All right.
No, no. And that's it. Breathe deep. Now, shake your head.
And
That's
a bit
it.
of a smile.
A bit of a
Look
smile.
at Paul, a big smile.
Terrible, isn't it? It's the worst job in the world, this.
Sit back a small bit.
Sorry, what?
Just sit back a little bit. Put your hand down. Thank you.
She sounds just like you, Mum. What's it say? Kate Tamil?
Could you keep looking at Paul?
Yes, it's always me, Mum. It's called an eye line, all right? And you just relax.
And a smile. Keep looking at Paul.
Just always me. And pretend I'm picking my nose.
Lovely. You can look at Carol now and do the
Now
same.
there's Carol. You do exactly the same for Carol.
Right, that's it. A smile. That's lovely. Okay,
You-
good,
you
do it very
imagine
well. You
that-
obviously have done this before.
You imagine their wigs just fell off.
That's lovely.
And then
And a bit,
look
a
at
bit more serious.
yeah,
now,
look at that
Carol.
brooch, Mum. Do you think that's a nice brooch? Nod if you think
No.
it's a nice brooch. Mm. I do too.
Lovely, thank you.
I think it's nice.
On to you, Paul.
No, I can't do this. I'm sorry, I've forgotten. Yes, all right. This is my mum shot.
Right.
Checking red light. Red light's on. Working now. This is the easy bit for you because they're not on you.
No, no.
So I'll shut
You
up.
over there. No, you stop talking.
And a serious one, please. And to Carol, please.
I wet my lips and look sexy.
Carol now.
It's a funny one. I think it's the hardest part of all.
And a more serious one, please.
This is very serious. I'm now going to ask you to recite the Ten Commandments in just a moment.
Yeah. He only offered them 5, but they were free, so they took 10. You understand.
Carol? Carol?
Yeah, Carol.
It's Carol.
A slightly lower eye line than the Ranson shots, and the. See that Esther Ranson's been kidnapped on the way out by ivory poachers. You too. You did a daft job. This is all to save a director's life. That's all it is. This is only to save a director.
Nearly there. One last bit.
Could have got these during. Is this the famous 2 shots,
Over the
3 shots?
shoulder.
Oh, the famous over the shoulder shot. Right, shall I move my head like I'm talking a bit? Because I've seen it on the telly when they do that. They just move their heads a bit.
Right.